Good morning. Welcome everyone to ECMS 2026. We had a good start yesterday evening. I guess everyone enjoyed it. And today we are officially starting our program. We are very excited to host ECMS 2026 at the University of Agder in Grimstad. My name is Filippo Sanfilippo. I'm a professor here. I'm a local organizer. I think it's time to start with a short demo.
Hi and good morning. Welcome to the 40th European Conference on Modeling and Simulation. We are honored to host this milestone conference here in Grimstad. For 4 decades, ECMS has brought together the best minds in simulation, modeling, and complex systems thinking. I'm here because modeling and simulation made me possible. Every movement I make comes from systems designed, tested, and optimized through computational thinking. That's what brings all of you here. The belief that we can understand complex systems, predict their behavior, and build better solutions. Over the next 3 days, explore, collaborate, and push the boundaries of what's possible. Have fun, learn a lot, and let's model the future together. Thank you.
So thank you, everyone. I think I recognize this familiar voice, but and now I have the pleasure to give the stage to our dean, the dean of our faculty, Anna-Katrin. She's going to welcome you.
Okay, thank you, Sanfilippo. Good morning, everyone, dear colleagues, guests, and friends, and welcome to the University of Agder. My name is Anna-Katrin Gjerde, and I'm the Dean at the Faculty of Engineering and Science here at the University of Agder. And it is truly a pleasure to see so many of you here today. Some of you have traveled far, and some of you are closer to home. But now we are all in the same place, and that is a very good way to start. University of Agder is a quite young university, but we are ambitious. We have 2 campuses, one in Kristiansand and one here in Grimstad. And they are different. But we try to work closely together. And this region is actually quite special. We have a strong collaboration between university, industry, and society. So ideas don't stay in theory for long. They are tested, used, and developed further. Our vision is simple: co-creating for tomorrow's knowledge. And for us, this is not just a sentence. It is about how we work every day. We work together across disciplines, across institutions, and very often across borders. And that is also why conferences like this matters. This is not our leadership team, but I guess there missed some, yes, doesn't matter. Oh, it's the wrong way. Sorry. Okay, well, we jump to, it's not the most important thing, what the leadership team is. So but I can say still that we have about 6 faculties, and we collaborate across these faculties, and we have also different research centers, and we try to connect people rather than separate them. So now we jump to numbers, and here are the numbers for university as a whole. There are more than 14,000 students and around 400 PhD candidates and around 3,000 graduates every year. But numbers are not the most important. What matters is, of course, what we do together with all that knowledge. And at our faculty, we work in engineering, in ICT, mathematics, and natural sciences. But more importantly, again, we try to work across all these fields because real world challenges, as you know, do not come in separate disciplines. And then some numbers for the faculty. We have around 2,800 students and more than 140 PhD candidates, and a strong group of staff. But what I'm most proud of is this. Our students and researchers work closely with industry. They work on real problems, and this creates impact. Research is, of course, a key part of what we do, and we work in a wide range of topics, from artificial intelligence to coastal systems, e-health, and, of course, mechatronics. And this is also where your field comes in. Modeling, simulation, system thinking. And these are tools that connect everything we do. They help us understand complexity and make better decisions. And now you also see where you are in this picture. This is southern Norway. We have coastline, nature, and light, but also technology and innovation. And I hope you will enjoy your stay, take time to talk to each other, be curious, and maybe start something completely new together. I would like to thank you all for being here, and I wish you inspiring talks, good discussions, and new collaborations. Welcome, and with that, I declare the conference for open.
Thank you, Anna-Katrina, for inspiring us. You mentioned a few keywords that are, I think, at the core of ECMS, co-creation, and the possibility of talking to each other, the need to talk to each other. So we are here to do this, to network and to work together. So let's continue with our overview. ECMS 2026 is important because we are celebrating 40 years this year. So we are really excited to present all our works at this conference. We had a record number of submissions, and we are really happy that you all can join here today. So this is where we are, in the most southern area of Norway, the warmest area, the most sunny area in Norway. And Grimstad is a small town, but it's a town that wants to be connected. It wants to reach outside Norway. It wants to connect to Europe and to the world. Some pictures taken from our facilities. We have the main buildings. We have several laboratories, and later on, tomorrow actually, you will have a lab tour, and my colleague Ali is going to tell you a little bit more about this. So I just wanted to highlight some of the most relevant laboratories that are somehow related to ECMS, to the concept of modeling and simulation. We have the Mechatronics Lab, the Mechatronics Innovation Lab, which is a bridge between the university and the local industry around this area. We have a hospital simulator. We have a home simulator. And recently, the university, the faculty is developing this new line of e-sport that is actually very successful. And a little bit more about my research group. So basically, we work with different kind of robots, and this is a way to see at the core of our research. We have different robots that operates in different scenarios, from aquatic scenarios to land to aerial drones, and then on top, the top layer is add-ons and sensors and actuators that you can equip your robots with. But the core of our research is actually represented by the bottom layer, which is the interface between machines and humans. So this layer of connection, this way of connecting robots with machines. So we are developing different kind of interface to make this happening, and together we are working towards this concept of human-robot teaming. So teaming means something more than collaboration. It means a task that you cannot do alone. You have to team up. So you're sharing space, physical space, you're sharing forces with the machine, and you're sharing decisions. We are having a podcast. You can feel free to scan the QR code to listen to our podcast, which is titled Among Us, Human-Robot Teaming. One of our previous guests is Professor Siciliano, is one of the main professors in robotics. He has written the book, the Handbook of Robotics. Feel free to check this podcast. And then a little bit, some pictures taken from our laboratories. We have the Motion Lab, which contains one of the biggest motion platform in Europe. And originally this laboratory was designed for testing and designing offshore operations. And one of the main ability or capability of our university is to adapt to new needs from the industry and new trends of research. So we are actually reusing these facilities not only for offshore, but also for example, e-health, assistive robotics. So we are giving new life to this equipment. Some other pictures, I think at the core of our research is also the involvement of students. So they are integrated in this research pipeline from bachelor level to master level, PhD levels, and we are part of this pipeline. Just wanted to also remind you that we are going to have this nice gala dinner at the Strand Hotel in Fevik. Some of you are already staying there, and it's one of the most beautiful area in this region. So we are really looking forward to the dinner. And I also want to take the opportunity to thank our sponsors. Of course, the local, our University of Agder, Stavanger University, represented by one of our co-chair, Florence, and the Research Council of Norway that has supported us. And here you have an overview of the people involved. I would like to thank you really everyone, Florence, Ali, Fabio, and Thomas representing. We have a really good delegation from KTU, Lithuania, which this year has been really helping us with the process of submitting papers and also really be an active part of the conference. And of course, I should have a really long list to say thank to everyone. From the top to the bottom, everyone has done a small part to this conference, and this is how we can make ECMS successful. So thank you to all the volunteers, and we look forward to the next days. And now I would like to give the word to my colleague Ali. He's going to give you an overview of the program.
Good morning, everyone. So my name is Ali Pursina. I'm the one of the program chairs. I collaborate with Fabio. Thank you very much, Fabio, for all the efforts. So welcome to University of Agder, welcome to Grimstad, and welcome to Norway. I hope you have had a wonderful boat trip last night. It was very fun. So I just go over a little bit of a few practicalities and logistics. Number one is this, as you can see, this is the program at a glance. So it has been installed different places and also on the web. So there's a couple of things. Every day there is a bus from Fevik Hotel to the university, and there is a bus in the afternoon going back. So you have the ride. And the other thing is that we have a lab tour, as you can see here. On Thursday. As you can see here, the lab tour is on Thursday. And afterwards, we have the dinner. So as you can see, there are two bus pickups. As you can see, there is one at 5:45. That's for people who are staying at Fevik Hotel, so they can use the bus to go there and get dressed or get changed. And the other bus is a 6:15. And the pickup point is the home hotel downtown in Grimstad. So for those who already get dressed and they want to go for the dinner. So there are two different buses for the dinner. I think these are the practicalities for that. And then we have a closing session. And in that closing session, we'll announce the winners of the best paper and student paper awards. Then we have a couple of QR codes. The first one is on presentations. Please use your cell phones and scan this, and please upload your presentations to this to the correct folder. But there is also, be careful, because when we always upload the presentations, sometimes we update it on our laptop. Make sure that you always upload the latest version. But don't panic if you upload and forgot, if you change the presentation and forgot to do it, to upload it. We have laptop in every room, so you can use USB stick, or you can also use your own computer. So, but this is our preference. If you do it, we really appreciate that. The next one is for the photos. As we have this QR code for uploading your photos, and we have the best photo award. Yes, if you have pictures, please upload, and we hope that we can share all the pictures with you after the conference. And I just want to take the opportunity and start the first picture. Maybe everyone is in the picture, so hopefully this goes at the best paper, the best. 1, 2, 3. And maybe the best selfie of the conference. Okay. All right. Thank you. The next one, which is very logistics and practical, is the transport in the last day to the airport. So there is a bus at 1:30, which leaves from the campus to Fevik International Airport. Make sure that you use this QR code and register yourself, so to make sure that you have a free ride to the airport. And again, it will leave at 1:30. So, and if you have any questions, we are all available, and we have wonderful volunteers in red t-shirt or red hoodies, a sweatshirt, so you can always ask them or ask us. We are always around to answer the questions. So then I will introduce Professor Khalid Al-Begain, who is the president of the ECMS. Professor Khalid Al-Begain is an eminent academic leader, scientist, and a long-serving former president of the European Council of Modeling and Simulation, called as ECMS. He holds a historic distinction of being the first individual to simultaneously serve as the president of both the ECMS and the Federation of European Simulation Societies. called EuroSim. And we are thankful to have him here digitally today, and we will listen to him. And I will wish you a very wonderful conference, very inspiring, productive conference. And maybe one last thing, when you have a lab tour, and if you come up with new ideas, we at the university are very looking forward to hear your ideas and establishing collaborations. Just reach out to us and we will be very happy to collaborate with you. Thank you very much, and I open the floor for Professor Khalid Al-Begain for his welcoming statement.
Good morning. Can you hear me? Okay, thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. It's a great pleasure, really, to join you at the 40th ECMS International Conference. I'm really unfortunate not to be able to join you due to the circumstances here in the Middle East, but although improving, but not yet normal. But still, I'm delighted to join you remotely to share this important occasion. This year marks a significant milestone. It has been said, which not anymore secret, it's the 40th conference in the history of ECMS. For 4 decades, this conference series brought together thousands of researchers, practitioners, educators, industry professionals to advance the science and practice of modeling and simulation. Over these 40 years, the field has gone through tremendous transformation. We moved from limited computational capabilities to powerful computing environments, from relatively simple models to highly sophisticated simulations, from standalone systems to interconnected digital ecosystems. We have witnessed the rise of high-performance computing, distributed simulation, digital twins, agent-based modeling, cloud computing, cyber-physical systems, and data-driven approaches. It's all changing the world of research and industrial applications. But despite all these changes, the purpose of the modeling and simulation remains the same. It's helping us understand complexity, explore alternatives, and support better decision-making. The robot has said most of what I wanted to say. It was amazing demonstration of what capabilities can be achieved through modeling and simulation in combination with other capabilities. So talking about AI nowadays, a lot of people speak about AI and with the rise of AI. And I hear this question whether AI will replace traditional modeling and simulation approaches. And here I want to say, in my view, AI will make modeling and simulation more important, not less. While AI excels in discovering patterns, generating predictions, modeling and simulation provide the means to understand systems, test scenarios, evaluate policies, and assess consequences before decisions are implemented. So the future is about integration, integrating these to generate, as we have seen, robots that are very clever, but they are tested, and together they create powerful tools to addressing complex challenges facing the day. So this conference reflects continuing evolution. Over the coming days, you will be presenting new research, exchanging ideas, challenge assumptions, and build collaborations and friendships. And here I echo what my colleagues said about the importance of this conference in creating connections that last for many, many years, that I am very proud of many of these. But allow me to thank the University of Edinburgh for hosting this conference. Sincere appreciation to and thanks to the conference and program chairs, the local organizing committee, the program committee, reviewers, session chairs, keynote speakers, sponsors, volunteers, everybody whose dedication has made this event possible. I also want to thank all the authors and you, authors and participants, for your contributions and your continued support for ECMS. Allow me also, most of all, to thank one person, my dear Martina, for her tremendous effort for over 25 years in getting the job done at the highest standard year after year. I say, as the president of ECMS, and having been involved with ECMS since 1996, 30 years now, I am practically proud to see our community celebrate this 40th conference with the same spirit of innovation, collaboration, and scientific excellence that has characterized ECMS throughout its history. And I cannot finish without mentioning and appreciating Professor Eugene Kirchhoff, the first president of the organization, as well as Professor Andrei Bargella and many other colleagues, long list, for their long-term service and dedication to ECMS. Thank you all for making this conference a success, and I wish you all a productive, inspiring, and enjoyable conference in Grimstad. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Khalid, for joining us remotely. And I also would like to take the opportunity to thank two special, like super women. That one is Martina, and the local organizer that has helped me with all the logistics and the events is Elizabeth. And now I would like to introduce our keynote speakers. Today we will have Professor Dmitry Ivanov, which is professor for supply chain and operation management from the Department of Business and Economics at Berlin School of Economics and Law from Germany. And his research focuses on supply chain simulations, agentic AI, and digital twins. And he's going to give us an overview from theory to use cases and implementation blueprints. And tomorrow, we will have another really interesting keynote from Professor Monica Malvezzi, which is a professor in mechanics and mechanism theory from the Department of Information Engineering and Mathematics at the University of Siena in Italy. Monica is one of my collaborators, and we are very much connected with the University of Siena when it comes to robotics and grasping particularly. And she's going to present her work on the role of simulation in the design of wearable robotic devices, and with a human-centered perspective, with modular gloves and twisted string actuators. So this is very much also connected with the concept of human-robot teaming. And so please attend the keynote tomorrow as well. And I'd like to give the stage now to Dmitry Ivanov.
All right. So, good morning, everyone. Thank you for inviting me to this conference. My first time at the ECMS. I heard about the conference, but never attended. It's a great pleasure also to be in Norway. Every time I come here and feel like almost like at home, because of similar nature as at my home town, maybe because of very warm people and very nice weather. Right? In Berlin now it's 32 degrees, on weekend 40 degrees, so it's much better to be here in Germany right now. All right, so what you can hear. All right, so we don't need mic. Okay, so a little bit of microphone is also not bad. All right, so what I'm going to talk about is supply chain, digital twins, artificial intelligence, and especially agentic AI. So As far as I understood from the wonderful trip yesterday, many of you are from mechanical engineering, from robotics communities, not necessarily supply chain management. So maybe for you it will be new field, which is not bad, right? To learn something new, which is not necessarily maybe your main focus. And I'm quite sure that you will find some interesting connections also to your field. This is the objective. So basically, I would like to start with a short introduction, what we actually understand under supply chain simulation, right? You are all experts in simulation, but what is specific for supply chains? Then I would like to talk about digital twins and AI in supply chain simulation based on some recent projects and say methodological theoretical developments. After that, I would like to switch the focus to something what we name supply chain resilience and viability. So essentially, my two main topics of research are supply chain resilience on one hand and digital twins, AI simulation on the other hand. And in this presentation, actually, I would like to connect both of them topics, right? So obviously, resilience is now very popular, right? So when you turn on TV, every evening in CNN and all these local televisions, you see like supply chain disruption, Strait of Hormuz, it's blocked, and so on and so on. So this is exactly what we are exploring, right? How such major disruption impacts supply chain. We are making stress tests of supply chain and simulate potential impacts. And after that, I would like to show you recent applications. For the last 5 years, I've been academic advisor of Ford Motor Company, and to show you how we implemented, I think it is, at least what I have seen, the first implementation, industry scale implementation of supply chain digital twins. And to make you some outlook what happens, or what we expect to happen in the next years. All right, you agree? Let's start. So basically, the research I am presenting today, it's a product of a collaborative effort of many of PhD students, of many of postdocs, and many project partners. Here you have seen just a small fragment of projects where my digital eye supply chain lab is involved with. You see most of them are European Horizon projects related to manufacturing as a service, digital twins, resilience in different areas. And we are also quite proud to have the first German National Research Center on Supply Chain Resilience, funded by German Research Foundation, first center of a kind where the whole university, all the departments are connected under one big topic, supply chain resilience. So what do we understand under supply chain simulation? So typically when we look at what happens in industry, what happens in academia, there are three main methods, like discrete event simulation, agent-based simulation, and system dynamics. This is probably something very close to robotics, to manufacturing lines, but slightly at a different scale. So please comment. So I have studied industrial engineering. Like 25 years ago, my topic of PhD was multi-agent system, artificial intelligence, discrete event simulation. And then for a while, these topics, somehow went down in popularity. Nowadays, we experience new wave of interest in artificial intelligence, in agent-based simulation. And the question is why? Right? So simulation has been here for a while. Simulation as such is not new. What is new are principally new possibilities to use simulation at scale. First of all, now we have opportunity to run models with real-time data. We have principally new level of data accuracy with the help of different types of technology, which I will talk about later. We have principally new opportunities to reach system visibility. We have data analytics, right? So predictive, prescriptive, descriptive, diagnostic analytics, everything which helps supply chain managers to make informed decisions. And the question is, how can we use all this potential to improve decision making, right? To provide to managers principally new quality of decision making support. And this is exactly what we are going to discuss today. So what is supply chain digital twin? So for the last 5 years, I've been doing maybe like 50, 60 keynotes at international conferences. So by the way, it is a new conference that I hope many of you have not seen this keynote, because when I'm coming to management conferences, people say, Dmitry, so again, it's digital twins. So you know these old jokes, right? When two professors who have been going to the same conference for 20 years are in a prison, whatever reason for, maybe they were too critical about AI or whatever. And a guy, boss of a prison, calls them, okay, guys, so we will kill you in 1 hour. You have 1 hour, so you can, what is the last decision you want to do? And one guy, okay, say, okay, if I have 1 hour, I would like to give my most favorable keynote, which I've been doing for the last 20 years. And another guy says, okay, well, when you allow him to start his keynote, which I've been listening to for the last 20 years, I would like to die before he begins. So I hope you, this is a new one, right? So it's a new community. But essentially, when you also speak to industry, right? So I'm also keynote speaker at many industry events, Microsoft, Blue, Anderson, others. There are very large discussions. What is digital twin? So how do you understand a digital twin? Right? So, and I think when we start discussion now, we will have huge variety of opinions, right? Some of them will tell me it is a simulation model. If I have simulation model, I have a digital twin of a physical process. Some of them, some of you will tell me, no, if we have all our data in the cloud, this is a digital twin. So, and there will be a huge variety of opinions. Essentially, I would say there is no unique definition, no consensus. For myself, and I defined it like digital twin, it's something which has 3 main components: digital model, data, real-time data about system, and analytics, so ability to make use of this data. Right? So just having data in the cloud, it's not enough. Just having simulation model which runs offline without real-time data is also not enough. Right? So once you get something where you can when you can combine all these 3 elements, we can name this digital twin, right? And there are many types of digital twins, right? So probably you work with digital twins on robotics, on mechatronics, on manufacturing level. So we do the same, but on supply chain level. And I will tell you why it is specific and why it is maybe different from building a digital twin of a manufacturing line. So essentially, recently, I tried to put these different empirical insights into a theoretical framework named Icarus. You know the story of Icarus, right? It's Greek methodology. And the thing is, when you talk to managers, when you try to use our method and implement them in practice, you come to 6 main challenges, which are interaction, creativity, adaptation, reasoning, ubiquity, and synchronization. And I would like just to give you some examples how we understand these challenges now, and what is the role of simulation. Simulation in the world where everything is now getting framed by artificial intelligence. Right? And you see when you talk to industry, when you talk to practitioners, many of them say, well, do we really need simulation? I can just ask generative AI, ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever, and I get solution. I don't need to build complex simulation models. So please tell me, why do we need simulation in the era of artificial intelligence? And I think these 6 components help to understand why do we still need simulation, even if artificial intelligence can do a lot. So there are 3 main areas where simulation and AI are combined. First of all, it is, I would say, something what we name AI-supported modeling and analysis. This is what many of you are doing, right? With machine learning, with reinforcement learning, deep learning, agent-based AIs, trying to implement, elements of AI into simulation models, represent objects as active agents, having some behavioral aspect, and helping us to identify bottlenecks, to develop some suggestions. The second area is digital twin. Right? So when we consider AI as a possibility to enhance a simulation model with real-time data. And the third opportunity to integrate simulation into AI, it's generative and agentic AI. Here, I will show you some examples where we will speak about Ford, how we use, for example, generative AI to identify supply chain networks, how we use agentic AI and edge AI for getting feedback into the system, and how we use digital twin, for example, for dynamic model adaptation. Great. So let us begin with the first component, interaction. So put yourself into position of supply chain manager. So imagine now you are a supply chain manager at Ford Motor Company. So you're coming in the office in beautiful morning, and you want, to check if your inventory policy is correct, right? You just ask a query, see at H5, for example, from any logistics, why is the profit is my simulation low as a network optimization, right? And then you get, software analyzes your model and gets you some suggestions why your simulation model produces maybe results which deviate from network optimization, right? So, and this is something what users expect, right? When they have a simulation model, they want to interact with the model, right? And interact in natural language, right? Possibly those of you who tried to apply simulation in the industry, you noticed that, say, intelligence level of many managers, it's not necessarily the same as researchers who bring simulation methodology to them, right? And when you give them network optimization model and it brings, matrix of binary variables, 0, 1, so managers, get concerned. They don't understand what is this. Similar, if you bring them any logic model, so it's total missing understanding. That's why they really want to have understandable recommendations and interactions. Ask model in natural language and get also modeling outcome in natural language. So the second aspect, which is very important, is reasoning. Right? So here, example. A manager would just like to ask, can you run this simulation and reason if reorder points are set correctly? Then any logistics, for example, is running models, analyzing current inventory policy and says, no, your reorder point, your target inventory were put in the wrong way, and these are the suggestions how we should do it. Right? So again, it is a sort of communication between AI and human, where through reasoning, managers get somehow more comfortable with the model, right? So the model becomes a tangible, understandable instrument and not just a black box where managers really do not understand how to use it. And then adaptation, very important, right? For example, again, so put yourself into position of supply chain manager. There are announcements like Strait of Hormuz is blocked, supply chains will be affected, or another big disruptions. Now we have disruptions every day, right? So disruptions are part of our normal. So make a stress test. How this particular geopolitical event will impact my supply chains. And there is some business narrative, what could happen, right? In the case of a global energy shortage, for example. We're running a simulation model and get a sort of, say, stress test, performance impact, how this particular disruption could affect my supply chain. Good. So far, theory. Now, before we are moving to resilience, let us make a short summary. What side of digital twins we have, right? So looking at different applications and industry projects, I try to summarize, to create a sort of classifications of digital twins. So the first level, the basic level, that's what we name traditional digital twin, right? Such a digital model and data. The second level, it's a cognitive digital twin. Here we have first elements of artificial intelligence, but very basic. Right? We just try to replicate human knowledge in AI agents. without allowing agents to create new knowledge. And this happens at the next level, what we name intelligent digital twins. Here, AI is used not just to replicate existing knowledge, but we allow AI to create new knowledge. In other words, AI can help us to understand our system better. And finally, we have agentic digital twin. And this is something very new, which I just recently published, and conceptually and practical implementation is coming. Here, the idea is that we have AI augmented supply chain decision support ecosystem where we integrate data, generative AI interfaces, simulation models, and multi-agent orchestration. Great. So far to digital twins. Okay, any questions, clarifications? So let us now move to the second part, which we name resilience, right? So what is resilience? Resilience, to explain it very simply, it's a simple capability to withstand disruptions and respond to disruptions, recover in case our supply chain is hit by a disruption, right? So essentially you have three phases: pre-disruption state, disruptions, which decreases performance, and recovery. When I would ask you now, so again, you are supply chain managers, you are all now supply chain managers. I ask you, so how you would increase resilience of your supply chain? So now disruptions are everywhere, right? Earthquakes, tsunamis, strikes, geopolitical tensions. Supply chains are crisis managers. How to increase your resilience? Probably you will tell me, maybe we should have 2 suppliers instead of 1 supplier. Maybe we would need more inventory. Maybe we would need some more logistics routes, right? If Suez Canal is blocked, we have alternative route where we can bring goods and so on. So this is something very obvious, right? And then you can ask me why all this, complicated science behind simple management problems. But it is not so obvious. You can build extra inventory. You can have more suppliers based on predictions. Right? But predicting risks, it's very risky. Right? Typically, what we predict does not happen. And what happens, we do not predict. Right? That's why this traditional approach for resilience, for risk management based on prediction does not always work. And especially now, when there are no rules, no norms in the world, every day things can happen which you never expect. So, and for this particular new context, crisis context, right? So I have developed a new theory which named supply chain viability. Right? And now I would like to explain you briefly why it is different from resilience and why it matters. Why companies start using viability as a new paradigm in supply chain management. So essentially, viability is ability to survive and to exist. Right? And here maybe you already see the first difference to resilience. Right? So resilience, mostly it's understanding how we can recover from disruption to bounce back to pre-disruption state. You have planned trajectory, you have disruptions, and you bounce back to planned trajectory. But bouncing back is not always possible, right? So can you remember pandemic, COVID pandemic, just 4 years ago, but maybe we already forgot about it, right? But bouncing back to the pre-pandemic stage, it's impossible. The world is completely different, right? And same happens now, right? So every day you see how the world is changing. So this is not just a question about responding to disruption, it's a question of surviving and existing in dynamically changing environment, something what we name unknown. And I mean, so many of you are engineers, you know, we have closed loop system, we have open system, we have feedback systems. Resilience is mostly feedback system, right? So closed loop system. You have disruption, you try to stabilize and you try to bounce back to pre-disruption stage. And viability takes open system perspective, right? So viability tries to ensure functioning in the presence of disruption. And viability also goes beyond merely economical component. It also considers societal component, regeneration, sustainability. And very important, viability, it's a sort of proactive thinking, right? So in resilience, what happens, we typically predict disruption And once we are hit by disruption, we start reacting. But sometimes it's too late, right? When you already know you have disruption. In many cases, we can proactively prevent disruption, right? We should not necessarily wait and react. And this is exactly what viability takes as a key perspective to adjust systems as proactive responses. So now you can ask me how to build viability of a supply chain. So many of you probably do research in the area of reliability, reliability of technical system, reliability of engineering system. And you know, from the theory of reliability, the best way to increase reliability is to create variety, right? The more variety, the more reliable is the system. It works in supply chain, but only to some extent. Why? Because what is the key difference between supply chain and, say, manufacturing system? Or what is the difference between supply chain and a robot? Right? When you take a robot or when you take a manufacturing system, you have three major components. First of all, full observability, full controllability, and fully visible feedback. So full visibility, right? In supply chains, you don't have that. You don't see the whole supply chain. You don't control the whole supply chain, and it's not observable for you. So that's why we say for viability, we have three components: engineered variety, it's something what we have in manufacturing. Then emergent adaptation, so emergent behaviors, right? And technology and visibility. And exactly technology and visibility, here we have digital twins, here we have simulation and AI component. So this is an example how we are using AI and digital twins for stress testing of supply chain. Imagine you have two disruptions, like the risk data, and you have supply chain map, right? So you are mapping disruptions in real time with your supply chain locations. And then if it happens that in this particular area you have warehouse or you have factory or here are your critical single source suppliers, we start stress testing, right? And stress testing means through simulation, through digital twin, we are able to observe possible performance impact and possible impact on operational processes like inventory dynamics and production dynamics. So now how it works in industry. So when starting building supply chain digital twin at Ford, first of all, we encountered one problem: a digital twin of what are we going to build? What do we really understand under supply chain, right? So yeah, you can take an example. So this is a book, right? So you can see it. And now I ask you to build digital twin of this book. You can do it easily because you see the book, right? You see the physical objects. When I put this book behind my hand, so you cannot see it. And I ask you build digital twin of it. How you can build digital twin of something what you cannot see? And this is exactly the problem with building a supply chain digital twin, right? So, but essentially, problem you would start asking me, right? So what do you have in your hand? Is it big or is it small? What is the purpose of this thing? Can you read it? And so on. And so these questions, you know, so a set of attributes, at the end you will come up with an image of a physical object. The same happens with the supply chain. So the first step in this project was to divide system into three levels: intra-company supply chain, tier 1, and deep tier network. Like intra-company supply chain, it is what you see very good, right? It is full observability, full controllability, your assembly line, your warehouse, everything what is inside of factory and about which you have 100% visibility, right? Then tier 1 network. Tier 1 network means your immediate suppliers. Suppliers who deliver engine, who deliver doors, cockpit, control panels directly to the assembly line of factory. So here you also have full visibility because you have direct connections, right? But then it becomes tricky, right? So do you know tier 2 suppliers, tier 3 suppliers, suppliers of suppliers? No. It is like I mean, so I have glasses. Many of you also have glasses, you know. So when I have my glasses on, I see everyone, even the last row, right? But when I put them off, so I see first row, second more blurred, and then you know it's getting more blurred. So the same as the supply chain, right? The farther you're doing the network, the less visibility you have. But you still need this visibility to build digital twin. Otherwise, you know, it does not make much sense to focus on the intercompany supply chain. So now, we have resolved this problem using generative AI. Now, with generative AI algorithms, we were able to rediscover the fourth supply chain and you know get full visibility even in deep tier network. But then once you have full visibility, you can make stress tests. The concrete example, a concrete use case was, I think in September last year, there was a huge fire at a major supplier of aluminum in the US, and deliveries to Ford assembly lines were broken. And essentially through this, what we name AI-based deep tier network elimination, it became possible to identify this disruption, first of all. And second, to make a sort of stress test simulation of potential impact of this disruption. And finally, this is probably the most interesting technical part, how we integrate this data. You know, when you work with companies, you know, there are different types of systems, like ERP system, warehouse management system, manufacturing execution systems, Internet of Things, different types of data sources, right? So the first task was to integrate this data sources into one data lake, right? So technically implemented through a cloud system. And after that, once you get this data into the cloud, and it's not static process, it's dynamic process, right? Data are updated every second, every minute, every hour, depending on the nature of data. So it is a real-time data lake, everything accumulated in the cloud. Then you can make what we name orchestration, right? Orchestration of the whole system, production planning, material requirements planning, inventory management, transportation. All this becomes a sort of synchronized and agent-driven orchestration system. So this is a practical example of this main principles, building digital twins and the implementation in industry. So as outlook, so there are several topics, and I would like to show some of them, what I am doing. First of all, I'm very interested in supply chain simulations using immune system mechanisms. You know, when you look at resilience, I would say resilience is a sort of immune system of a supply chain, right? So each of us has an immune system. Why? Because of two reasons, right? To protect ourselves against viruses, disruptions, and to recover if we get sick. The same with supply chain, right? So we need resilience to protect and recover. And when you look in detail at the immune system and talk to people from you know, healthcare, from medicine, there are a lot of similarities. So essentially, so mechanisms how immune systems adapt and recover in case of disruptions resemble very much of supply chain resilience mechanisms. So this is the first thing where a lot of agent-based models can be developed, right? Then Internet of Behaviors, right? So you have probably heard about Internet of Things. Have you heard about Internet of Behaviors? Maybe. So it is, you know, also new area where firms get more data about us, and especially with generative AI, when we ask something ChatGPT gets more information about us. Right? These companies get power, and they can influence our behavior. The same can happen in supply chain. Influence of supply behavior, influence of customer behavior. Then agentic AI. Right? Now everyone in the industry is talking about agentic AI. A lot of investments, not always clear understanding. You know, typically it looks like, okay, I give you 10 million budget, make 5 projects about agentic AI, report at the end of the year what you achieved, right? Actually, so This is actually the second stage of our project with Ford, where digital twin built at the first stage, which I just explained to you, will be extended by generative AI. And here's a vision, but not only the vision, already first implementations look like that. Imagine, so supply chain planner comes to the office, opens computer, and just asks query. So where we are today, and gets immediate response, product availability 99%, sales forecast improved, production plans, everything fine, right? Or it can happen, there is alert message, like for the last 3 weeks, supplier A has been delivering with delays. This sort of alert. Then the simulation model or optimization model is automatically created. It's very important, right? So there is no human in this system responsible for model development. The model is automatically created, generated, and used for supply chain stress test, for example. And then, along with this, say, human in-the-loop mechanism, where there is autonomous module, multi-agent system orchestration, where agents are capable, to find solutions even without direct interactions with humans. So, but this is something what is a little bit about future, and we will see how it works. Yeah. Then, when we try to make an outlook, how simulation, AI, digital twins will look in the future, I think there are, first of all, 4 major levels of AI: agentic, generative, learning, and HAI. Each of them is responsible for certain area in this framework. And then when you look at the digital twins, there are infrastructure layer, like cloud, Amazon cloud, Google cloud, whatever. New specific clouds, like Coviv or Nebius. Then you have integration and semantic level, something like Palantir, for example, a sort of Windows for AI. Then you have network analytics layer. Here you have such systems like Neo4j, for example, with innovative types of databases. Process analytics layer, like Celonis, for example, process mining. And operational analytics layer. And exactly at this operational analytics layer, our simulation competence is located. So you see, we are not losing our job in AI level, and we have very specific place in a new world where our competence is in high demand and definitely a very important component of the whole digital twin, artificial intelligence-driven supply chain management. Yeah, and then, so by education, I'm a control engineer, industrial engineer, so I'm always thinking in terms of control engineering, feedback, stability, and then I just try to put different types of AI in a control loop. And here you see, we typically start with forecasting and planning, where we use business applications. Then we have models located in the cloud. Connection happens using generative AI. Then from models, we come to the process, right? When you take assembly line, for example, you have a lot of sensors on the assembly lines. And this is something what helps us to ensure monitoring HAI. HAI is something what helps us to implement intelligence at end devices. And of course, observations, we have data centers, even if now there are many discussions about them, about data centers. Still, they are building, they will be built, and they allow us to implement, all this learning-based AI algorithms. Good. Have you heard about Industry 4.0? Have you heard about Industry 5.0? Have you heard about Industry 6.0? At least now you have heard about it. So, 2 months ago, I published a paper in Computer Operations Research named Industry 6.0, but it is another keynote. So it is another keynote. Here, I just want to give you some ideas. So when you look at the developments through all these industrial revolutions, essentially you see with each next industrial revolution, replaces or transforms some type of work. First industrial revolution, physical manual work was given to machine. Second, mechanical work. Third, with ERP systems, administrative and skill technical. Then Industry 4.0 essentially was concerned with routine intellectual work. Industry 5.0 managerial intellectual work with generative AI came. And now agentic AI is coming. So actually the last, say, typical human work, intellectual creative work, is given to machine. So the last stage can only be what OpenAI recently defined as superintelligence. Superintelligence are systems which are smart as humans equipped with AI. So beyond that, there is nothing. We cannot do anything more. So creative intellectual work, it's the last asset of humans where we're still different from machines. So this is obviously interesting topic for the future research. All right, so to summarize, what are the key takeaways and what I hope you can take as a summary from this talks. So basically, supply chain analytics simulation methods are very powerful. I am not much concerned that AI will take our jobs. I am more concerned how we will adapt, how we will evolve in the age of AI. Very interesting developments, for example, X-verse simulation. So I'm working a lot with AnyLogic, and here I also have my book about AnyLogic. If you are interested, I will just put it here. You can not take it with you, but look inside. Like for example, AnyLogic integrated with NVIDIA Omniverse, right? So very nice developments. And when we think about practical applications of simulations, maybe this Icarus framework, interaction, creativity, adaptation, reasoning, ubiquity, synchronization can help. And the second topic I wanted to discuss with you was viability. Right? So when we talk about application of AI, of simulation to resilience, to viability, we have a lot of potential in network discovery, in supply chain stress testing, in dynamic performance analysis. But we should also not forget that AI itself is a new type of supply chain risk. AI helps to manage supply chain risk, but also creates new supply chain risks. So essentially, the next 2 decades will be very exciting. It will be not boring. Disruptions in all areas, but we will have also not only negative disruptions, right? We will also have positive disruptions. So uncertainty, it's now prevailing, and not only the future, the current state today, everything is uncertain, right? Everything can happen, but uncertainty is not only risk, right? Uncertainty is only chance. It's also a chance, and that's why. Many interesting topics about resilience, how to manage negative disruptions, but also about new opportunities which are coming with AI, which help us to improve our systems should be considered, right? Good. So now some idea, maybe some discussions. Do I still have time? Yeah. Okay. So some discussions.
Thank you very much, Dmitry. Very inspiring keynote.
Thanks. Yeah, if you have any questions.
I especially like your view about the future and balance between chances and risks. Please.
I'm loud.
You're loud.
Yeah. My name is Joanna, 22 years in ECMS already.
All right.
So I have 2 questions. First, very simple about your idea of immune system incorporated in your models. Like, so how do you solve the complexity of the system because of hypermutation or something like this? And the second question is about aspect in your supply chain digital twins, which is a little bit omitted in my opinion. It's security, cybersecurity. Because your supply chain in today's era is strictly connected with service, IT services, right? Because many things are doing using IT support for today's supply chain. So security is important. So what is your plan for security, for prediction, for secure digital twin? I mentioned this because we are working right now on that. So I'm just curious about this. Thank you for your presentation. It's really nice.
Thank you for your feedback and for your questions. Well, so look, when we talk about immune systems, so each immune system has two components: innate immunity and adaptive immunity. So innate immunity is something, for example, when we talk about our immune system, innate immunity is something what we are born with, like our skin, right? General protection. In supply chains, the role of innate immunity is located, for example, to inventory. We build inventory without any particular forecast, without any particular prediction. It is there. Right? And then we have adaptive immunity. Adaptive immunity we get during our life. For example, through vaccination or through contact with real virus. Right? Once you get sick for the first time, next time you confront the same virus, your immune system will react differently. Maybe you will not get sick. So in the supply chain, it means learning. Right? Once we have one disruption, we learn from it, and next time when we have similar disruptions, we are more responsive, more adaptive. This is in terms of complexity, right? So two different approaches related to innate immunity, say general protection, and adaptive immunity, where we really develop targeted, tailored supply chain strategy for particular types of disruptions which we encountered in the past. Right?
First, you have recognized it, and that's the issue, because you have to produce a lot of prototypes just to compare and detect this virus or whatever it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
This space is very time-consuming because you have to produce a lot of such prototypes and perform a lot of interfaces. That's why that was for my question, because we can assume theoretically a lot of models, but we have to implement this and we have to detect the concrete intrusion or whatever it is in a very short time, right? So that was my question about.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree. I agree.
Security this.
Yeah.
Especially AI driven, because you can manipulate the data, but you can also manipulate your AI tools using the vulnerability of many of them.
Yeah.
And you have to have very easily the full control on your physical infrastructure, but also on your digital twin, because you made it twin as a copy of your physical infrastructure. So that was my question.
Yeah, that's a very important question, cyber security. Here we should understand digital twin of a supply chain. It's a decentralized system. It is not controlled system. So there is no one in a company who controls digital twin, because some parts of digital twin belongs to suppliers. Some parts of digital twin belongs to ours. Sometimes belong to logistics companies. And this creates additional complexity in terms of also, for example, cybersecurity, right? So since it's a decentralized system, there is not centralized procedure to ensure cybersecurity. On the other hand, digital twins can help to manage cyber disruptions, for example. I can just give you one example. In the fall previous year, there was a big cyber attack on the Jaguar Land Rover company in the UK. About 50,000 suppliers were affected through the cyber attack, leading to decline not only of Jaguar Land Rover economic performance, but also of the overall national economy. So, and this is how digital twins become important, right? When this disruption happened, the British government started to search for researchers who have digital twins of this network because immediately you want to understand who are affected, who are in this network. So essentially, there are two questions which are related. On the one hand, digital twins can help, for example, manage cyber disruptions, but we also need to ensure their own cyber security, as you say.
Thank you. There's one question here.
Thank you, Carlos Simon from Germany as well. I'm working for decades on data-driven simulations and combining them with AI. And probably you could turn to slide number 26, because this is a very specific question that I have.
Okay.
The thing is that you, in this slide, 26, you combine your use agentic AI as an example for bridging models with AI.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, in your entire presentation, you didn't tell us what you think of when you name something a model. What are models for you?
Yeah.
What's the dimension? And probably you can give us a little bit more insights. What's the central term in your entire presentation?
Yeah.
You left it open.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
So I'm just thinking. So there are many concrete examples. So with which to start. Okay, let's me name two of them. So the first is, material requirements planning and master production schedule. So master production schedule happens on the network, on the factory level. You have demand forecast. Based on this, you made MPS. And MPS is transferred to material requirements planning. So essentially you say, okay, today I am producing 800 F150. I need this and this materials. And so we make order release. So typically it is
in an abstract way, not with examples.
So
because the abstract view on it, that is the point where you find out whether the model is reliable and whether you can trust the model. If you don't trust the model, you can't trust your entire system.
For this particular example, you have two models: master production schedule model and material requirements planning model, which are executed isolated. With agent systems in this particular Ford company, right? So these two models were integrated. Instead of having two schedules, one production schedule at Ford and one production schedule at supplier, there is one schedule within this, as you say here, in this multi-agent orchestration system, where there is production agent at Ford and inventory agent at supplier, right? And they coordinate, synchronize the activities. This is what I understand under a model, right? So the concrete model which is solved in a decentralized way, so agent competitions, and results are excellent. So lead time was improved by 40%. Inventory was reduced by 30% in this system. Another example, when we talk Ford, there is assembly line and there is digital twin of this assembly line. As assembly line is equipped with sensors, so we can track really every second what happens in the assembly line. And based on this information, AI model helps not only to control the process, but also to adjust the planning model. And this is something completely new, right? So the Internet of Things from feedback information will not only control the process itself, but also its model. Thank you.
Two more questions.
Thank you very much for your very insightful presentation. If you go to the last slide.
Yep. You give me a chance to read the last slide.
Oh, yes,
this is very good. Thank you very much.
I think this caught my interest because we as professors, associate professors, are researchers, and we are also heavily involved in education.
Yeah.
And if you look at the education and supply chain, and then you have provided these three items, and now with the significant improvement with AI and other applications, what are your insights about how would be like education future, or do you have any insights? Or especially you said that one of the important jobs of us is to adapt the adaptation, right?
Yeah.
So how do you see that this type of adaptation in education, especially at the university level.
That's great. So I will talk from position of editor of international journals and also as a professor, as a program director. So now there's a lot of hype about AI. So this hype is obviously driven by stock exchange, by IPOs which are coming from all these companies, and all this stuff. Like AI, you don't need education anymore in the AI area. It is just hype. So forget about it. Everything will be good. One thing I want to show is that when you look at this in this very simple picture, it's actually, when you are interested, I published it just 2 weeks ago in Operations Management Research. The article is what is the future of research and education in AI era. So, and basically now in my school, I'm transforming our curricula given AI in the following direction. It's actually represented in the slides. We still have lectures, like normal, where we explain concepts without AI. So really, the students should have knowledge without AI. Second, we have AI augmented classes, where say the same problems like inventory management, facility location planning, and so on are solved in communication with AI. They can select anything: Gemini, Claude, ChatGPT. And then we have third type of laboratory where we connect human and AI collaboration. But here the thing is, and this is what I also sent on the slide, here we increase problem complexity. We say, okay, if you take the same problem, like material requirements planning, you can solve it without AI. Then what for, right? So increase problem complexity. Instead of small problem, take a real complex problem situation, which you cannot solve without AI, and show how you can solve it using your, say, traditional modeling knowledge and adding AI. So, and the same happens in research. Now, so I'm editor in many journals, and what is now submitting, it's really catastrophic at some places, right? So 90% of submissions just AI generated papers, and then we are having a sort of task force and meeting almost every week, speaking. So what happens? What should we change in our requirements? I think the trend is like we are now saying we do not forbid using AI. We say you can use AI, but if you use AI, you should show the rationale behind it. For example, that you are able to solve a problem which we were not able to solve without AI. So the focus is shifting from modeling, from algorithmic part, which is largely automated and moved to AI. The focus of human input, it's shifting to the input. How do you formulate the problem? How you collect unique data? So essentially, this is also what I tell to my master students. Right? When you formulate research question for your master thesis, first ask this question ChatGPT. If you get answer, you don't need to write thesis about this topic, right? So there should be something unique in our research work, which AI cannot do. It can be unique data, which are not available in internet. It can be innovative problem statements, which people were not able to solve before AI. Or it can be something in terms of implementation, right? So AI will give you technical computation, but now how you can use it? What are managerial insights? What are policy insights? What are theoretical insights? In other words, somehow the post-processing of data. Right, so in short, I think the whole story about modeling and algorithms will be given to AI. Our part will be more to create innovative input and interpret results in an innovative way.
Thank you very much. So innovation and creativity.
Creativity, exactly.
One last question, concise.
That's very kind. Thank you as well for your insightful talk. Can we please go back to slide number 26?
26. Oh, but maybe it's even easier to find.
Yes, that's the right one. Yeah, perfect. Okay, I think that's a really complex one, and everybody today is talking about AI, as you mentioned as well. But I was a little bit surprised, to be honest. If you see on the right side process mining, which is also combined with data concierge agents like ERP and so on, I would be interested, do you see a link between process mining, which also consists of existing data from ERP systems and so on, and simulation models, and then combine it with AI, and not having so many different, not integrated technologies and methodologies? Thank you.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I would begin immediately with practical evidence. While testing it at Ford, we uncovered that Ford was thinking there are 5 main processes in the material production system. The digital twin has shown there are 1,400 different real processes in the system. So this is how AI and process mining are connected. And then, of course, it directly links to simulation, right? When we build a process simulation model, I mean, we should do it for real processes and not how we think, right? So it's we should try to understand things how they are and not how we want they are. It's a great question.
Thank you very much. I have one last comment before the break. I really appreciated many of your diagrams, and as a multidisciplinary conference, one suggestion I would like to share with you: take some of these diagrams and port them to your field. I think this is something we can learn from the keynote speaker today. And we are not stealing from you, we are just reusing your work. And of course, remember to cite these works. You
are very much welcome, and it's always a pleasure to see, right, that your work gets impact and inspires other people, motivates. This is the most important thing.
So we are authorized to use. Enjoy the coffee break now and use it to talk to each other.
Yeah,
thanks.
Thank you.
Basically, I know Monica personally. We have been collaborating previously, and it's a pleasure to see her coming today. And one of the central parts of Monica's research is centered around robotic hands. So I'm really looking forward to your speech, Monica, and I'll give you the stage.
Okay. So thank you, Filippo, for first of all, for inviting me in this wonderful city. And thank you for the organization of this conference. And thank you to all of you for listening me. So as Filippo said, my name is Monica Malvezzi. I am Associate Professor of Mechanical Engineer at the University of Siena. So first of all, greetings from Siena. I don't know if you know where Siena is. It's a small city in Tuscany, in the center of Italy. And okay, in Siena there is a department of information engineering and mathematics where I work. And okay, you see the first picture is Piazza del Campo. Probably most of you already know it. And the second one is the building where we have our courses and our laboratories, and where Filippo also started his studies, maybe, okay? And the third one is a picture of our research group with more or less all the components, because it's difficult to do a picture with all the people, because all the time someone is missing, but more or less this is almost complete. Okay, about our research group, as Filippo introduced, our research is on robotics, of course, but we call it human-centered robotics because we study robots that closely interact with humans, and also robots, we take inspiration from the human being for also creating new robots. So if we want to make a sort of a classification of what we do, these are the principal activities. As I said, one important part is about wearable haptics, so the design of devices that allows to replicate the sense of touch with the wearable devices. Another important part is about grasping and manipulation. In this part, we study devices also inspired by the human hand. And the third part is about human and robot collaboration with the physical interaction. So humans and robots that collaborate in doing common tasks. So today I would like to start from, I would say, the beginning. So when I studying robotics, I started with probably you know this book is the book from Professor Siciliano about robotics. This is just to say that originally a robot is a mechanical system and is composed of rigid links with joints. We can write Lagrange equations, integrate them if we can, and then we can study its dynamic in different ways. This type of robot is okay. The first part, the first era of robotics then was focused on mechanism composed of rigid parts connected with joints actuated with motors, and here the goal was mostly about the performance. So we attempted to have a robot as precise as possible, as quick as possible, as strong as possible. And in this perspective, we can divide the development of robotic devices in mainly three parts that are the mechanical structure, the part related to actuators and sensor, and then the control. So, of course, these three parts are connected somehow, but in a rigid robot, they are in some way independent elements. Then, more recently, we had a series of transformation in the whole engineering environment, let's say, and we had some additional resources and also some additional requirement for the development of devices. So we had a great increase of computational resources. We had the possibility. We had also a new computational tool. We are facing the advent of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and so on. We have also new technologies for manufacturing the robots, so all the additive manufacturing family of fabrication types. And we have also the possibility to exploit new materials. So all these elements contribute to make a new generation of robots that are able to go out from the cages of the production cells in a more extended and unstructured environment. And so if we free the robots and we leave them outside the environment, of course, we have new elements to consider. We have an environment that is unpredictable, that is dynamically evolving, etc. There are humans inside the environment that can interact with the robots. And we have also a lot of new possible and potential applications. So one of the main direction that allows robots to get in this new framework is the so-called soft robotics. Soft robotics is the new, I would say, generation of robots in which we have no more mechanisms composed of links and joints and motors, and that's it. But we have systems in which, okay, the actuation, the structure, the sensing, and the control are more or less in the same component, I would say. So in the picture, for example, I reported an example of soft robotic hand. This is a hand composed of fingers that are made of silicon. They are filled, okay, they are pneumatically actuated, and there are some wires that control the deformation. So to have a movement of this structure that resembles the closure movement of the hand. So the advantages of this type of approach is, of course, that these devices are no more rigid, then they can interact in a safer and more adaptable way to the environment. So they can, for example, easily adapt to objects with different characteristics. For example, they are quite resistant to shocks and sudden interactions with the environment. They are safer in the interaction with the humans and so on. And in this type of structure, we have what I anticipated just before, that is, there is no more a clear boundary between the three main elements of a robotic system. So the mechanical structure, the actuation, and the control are somehow no more independent. And okay. So, in this framework, this is a conference about modeling and simulations, how simulation can contribute to this new new environment of robots. Yes, simulation is for sure important in the design phase of our soft robots. Even more, because in this type of robots we have structures that usually have to be as light as possible. We are working with the new materials in which the mechanical properties can be different from the ones that we were used in a traditional design methodology. So here simulation is important because we have the possibility to predict before fabricating the component of the system. We have the possibility to verify the behavior. Here I reported, for example, this is this colorful picture is not just to make the slide nicer. Is an example from one of our work that is a component of a soft gripper. This is made of the inner part of a gripper is made of TPU and is shaped to adapt in a safe way to the object that are grasped. So this is a component of a gripper that is particularly suitable for grasping delicate and fragile objects. And here the need was to have as a distribution of contact between the object and the gripper as large as possible, to have to limit as much as possible the contact pressure. Another field in which, even in soft robotics, simulation is fundamental is in validation and testing, because, of course, okay, we are fine with the design, we realized the prototypes, the elements, etc. And then we have to verify the behavior of the system in different situations. And okay, doing this with experiments could be too expensive. So simulation allows us to test a large number of cases, even cases that are not easy to realize in an experimental setup. So here, as an example, I reported some tests that we did for some elastic joints that are a part of, again, robotic grippers. And here, of course, we built, okay, we did a lot of experiment with prototypes, but we integrated this data set of experiment also with data from simulation to have a wider knowledge about the behavior of this type of elements. And as a last contribution of simulation in soft robotics, of course, the simulation is important also to design the proper control systems. So knowing how a soft element, a deformable element will behave under the application of certain loads or in certain conditions is important also to design, to set up a proper control for this type of devices. Here, as an example, I reported this is a simple robotic gripper in which we have the fingers of this gripper are composed of rigid elements that are the red one, connected with soft deformable elements that are the black ones, and they are made of TPU. And in this type of gripper, the interesting thing is that playing, I would say, with the 3D printer by regulating the infill density of the soft parts, we could regulate the stiffness of the joints, and in this way we could realize different closure trajectories for this type of gripper. So we have more degrees of freedom, I would say, in the design phase, because we can regulate other properties of the material beside the ones that we were used with traditional materials. Of course, we have seen the importance, the new opportunities of soft robotics. We have seen how simulation can contribute in the design, control, and collecting data from this type of structure. But of course, we have also to consider a lot of possible challenges. So one of these is that in compliant system, in soft devices, of course, we have that the deformation is no more localized in some specific point, but we have structures that face a continuous deformation, and the mathematical tools that we have to employ to understand, to model, to simulate this type of deformation are more complicated than the ones that we could employ in a standard rigid manipulator. Moreover, we can play with structures that are also a geometrical shape that is more complicated. For example, here I reported a quite known structure that is called the fin ray structure. it's a structure that simulates the fin of the fishes. And this is a structure that is used, for example, in robotic grippers, because it's particularly interesting for adapting to grasped object. Of course, this type of geometrical shape is something that needs to be investigated, and it's more complicated than a single standard link. New materials that we employ in this type of systems usually have a behavior that is not the Hooke law, let's say. So we usually know that this type of materials are not linear. So we cannot model it with a single Young modulus, etc. And we have to consider this element when we simulate the behavior of our systems. This is of course a challenge, but it's also again an opportunity, because more degrees of freedom is something that complicates the simulation on one side, but also offers more freedom on the other side for the designer that can play, I would say, with more details. Here, for example, I reported another grippers in which in the phalanges we added some soft pads that are made of silicon in this case, and can be actuated with some with a pneumatic actuator, so they are filled with air, and regulating the pressure of the air inside the pads. We can, on one side, regulate the pressure that the gripper applies to the object, and on the other side we can use the information about the pressure inside these chambers to estimate the distribution of forces in the grasp, and then we can both control and regulate it. Even more freedom, thanks to additive manufacturing technologies, is given by the possibility to mix different type of materials with different properties. For example, in this application, we played with materials with different stiffness, and so building elements with matrices of different materials with different properties, we could get components for our robotic grippers in which we could regulate in a precise way the stiffness properties. We exploited this from the mechanical point of view only, but this is an opportunity that we can use also for different types of properties. For example, you can mix conductive and non-conductive materials to get differentiated electrical properties for other types of applications. So this is even more it's a challenge, but it's also an opportunity that we have as a designer in this new type of devices. Okay, after this first overview of this new direction of robotics, the opportunities, the challenges, and the new applications, I would like to focus a little bit to something that we are exploiting, that we are studying in these years in our laboratories. And I would like to focus on an application that mixes somehow all the elements that I have introduced at the beginning. That are the hands, that are the human in the loop, and the soft material, I would say. So I would like to present you some studies that we are conducting about the development of wearable devices, wearable exoskeleton for rehabilitation and assistive applications, focusing on the hand and, the hand and wrist, and let's say the upper arm, the upper limbs more in general. So the motivation, beside the scientific challenge that, of course, it's important for us, but here we have also a motivation that is beyond, because the availability of devices that allows people with impairments or problems in some part of the body, in this case we focus on the upper arm, could be something that is important from different points of view. This type of devices could speed up the rehabilitation process, could provide to patients and user in general more freedom and more independence. And at the end, could be also be convenient from the economical point of view, because of course we can save, we can plan more intensive and more effective exercises that could provide a quicker recovery of the problem in case of rehabilitation. Okay, so the word of the design of devices for rehabilitation and assistance of patients is something that is gaining again some interest, because not only of the scientific contribution, but also the social, economic, etc. impact. And again, we decided to focus on one part of the body that we are already, that we know pretty well, that is the hand. Actually, this is a part of the body that is quite difficult to even to model, but also to actuate, because the hand is has a structure that is quite complicated. Anaxagora said that humans are intelligent because they have hands. The hand is an important part of our body that is fundamental both for the actuation, for an actuation point of view. We can apply actions to the environment with our hands, but also it's an important sensor, I would say, for our body. We understand that we can monitor the environment with our hands. And okay, going back in our engineering perspective, sorry. If we want to model our hand as a mechanism, it's a mechanism that is pretty complicated, because it's it's composed of a high number of bones, 27 bones connected by a high number of articulations. And each articulation can be modeled as a mechanical joint with 1, 2, or 3 degrees of freedom, depending on the articulation. And I would say that to have a precise model of the hand, mechanical model of the hand, we need at least 25, 27 degrees of freedom. So, okay, let's try to model it, to build a model of this hand, then to continue with the development of the devices. For the modeling of the hand, there are several tools, and the one that we selected was SynGrasp. SynGrasp is a toolbox of MATLAB function that we developed at the University of Siena, and was released in 2015. And it is a toolbox it's a library of MATLAB functions that allows to simulate grasp and manipulation of objects with anthropomorphic and non-anthropomorphic hands. So inside the scene grasp, there are models of the hand, model of the object, and function that allows to connect them and to simulate the grasping interaction, and manipulation tasks. So the main element of scene grasp, so model of the hand, models of the objects, and tools for grasp analysis, and there is also a user interface that allows the user to organize simulations in an easy and intuitive way. Okay, at the beginning, scene grasp was only a tool that worked in quasi-static configuration, in the sense that there was not something that simulated the dynamics. More recently, we extended this library with some functions that allows to export directly the scene grasp model in a Simscape. Simscape, I don't know if you know, it's an environment within Simulink that is inside MATLAB, suitable for dynamic simulation of different types of engineering systems. Okay, so first of all, what we did is a library of functions that, starting from scene grasp, directly built the model of the hand in Simscape. Then another part that we had to consider was the contact between the part of the hand and the object. So these are the first simulation that we did to implement this contact function, and then there are some simulation with different, in this case with a simple parallel gripper with different object. In this case we grasped different object with the fingertips. Simulation with different types of grasps. The same gripper with different types of object. In this case, we can simulate also in a quite easy way, also different materials. For example, we can vary in a quick way the weight of the object, the inertia properties, but also the geometric properties. And also here in the last simulation, you can see that we can easily extend this simulation to different types of hands, including the anthropomorphic hand. So about the anthropomorphic hand, so now we have the tool. Let's talk a little bit about the model. This is one of the anthropomorphic hand models that we have. This is the model that we use at the beginning of the implementation of the studies of our exoskeleton, let's say. So it's a model in which the hand has 25 degrees of freedom. So each degree of freedom is a movement of one of the phalanges, for example. Just to say, the interphalanx joints model has a single degree of freedom joint. The metacarpophalangeal joints are 2 degrees of freedom joints. The thumb has a more complicated kinematic structure with the 5 degrees of freedom, etc. So 25 degrees of freedom for the hand, sorry, 24, sorry, 24 for the hand plus 3 for the wrist. So we included in this model also the wrist because, as I will show you in a while, in our devices, we needed also to actuate the wrist motion. Okay, this is a model that is parametric in the sense that we can change the size of the model by regulating only 2 parameters that are the length of the hand and the width of the hand. So with these two elements only, we can regulate the size of the hand to test, for example, different user characteristics. On the right part of this slide, I reported just to complete the Navier-Tartenberg parameters. Okay, now we have the tool, we have the model. Let's start to build, to design the devices. Okay, so now we have to enlarge a little bit the characteristics of the user that will exploit the device. So the first thing to consider is what type of device we want to realize. And okay, the possible devices that can be realized for actuating the upper limb can be classified more or less in three main categories. So there are rigid exoskeleton, hybrid exoskeleton, and soft exoskeleton. Okay, the difference, I think, is quite intuitive to understand. Rigid exoskeleton are structures in which we have a rigid connection, a rigid mechanism that is connected to the hand and then actuates the hand. The advantage of a rigid actuation is that we have a precise motion, we can apply higher forces, and we usually don't have problems in, for example, understanding the configuration of the hand during the exercise. On the opposite side, there is the soft actuation, the soft exoskeleton, in which, on the other hand, we have that the structure of the exoskeleton is no more rigid. I would say it's no more a skeleton, it's more a glove, let's say an actuated glove. And the actuation is made of flexible elements or soft actuation types, so typically tendons or pneumatic actuators. In the middle, there are solutions in which there is a mix between them that are called hybrid solutions. And in the following, I will show you two examples of exoskeleton, one rigid and one soft. So, okay, in this phase, we had to consider also the requirements. So we are engineers, so we cannot, we have not the knowledge that is necessary for this type of design. So we extended our collaboration with some physiotherapists and some doctors to match, to have a translation between the requirements from the clinical point of view and the engineering requirement. So this is a step, an example of this first step of the design, that is how we could translate the clinical requirements into mechanical and engineering requirements. So this is a table in which for each, for a series of impairments, of problems of the hand, we have a list of consequences that this type of problem can cause. So the problems are a reduction of the range of motion of the hand. In some cases, you have a reduction of the force that you can apply, etc. So here, on the basis of the physical impairments, we can, of the pathologies that are affecting the subject, we can understand which are the elements that we need to solicitate with our. And extending this analysis can be extended also to what we want to get from our device. So if we want to extend the range of motion of the movement, we need a tool that allows not only to control the motion, but also to measure it. So in the first analysis, in this first part of the analysis, we had a connection with the clinical world to translate their requirements into requirements that can be applied in the development of technological devices. So the design process is divided as usually in this part. We start from the requirements, as I said. In the first part, once we know the problem that we want to solve, we decide the structure, if we need a rigid, soft, etc. Device. Then we go to the design phase. So in the design, we dip the analysis, we provide a solution for the problem that we want to solve. And in the design, of course, we work on the structure, the actuation, the sensing part, and also how we can control the device. And finally, there is the final testing phase that is divided into parts. The first one is functional, so it's a test that is focused on the device itself. It's just to check that the requirements are met, and then there are tests with user to check the effectiveness of the solution. Okay, some examples. This is an example of a rigid exoskeleton. So no, these are 3 examples of rigid exoskeleton. This is the history of the rigid exoskeletons that we developed in Siena. We started at the beginning with a solution that was not very comfortable for the user because it was too much rigid and a little bit bulky. Okay, this first solution was developed starting from our studies of human synergies that are a way, the postural synergy of the hand are a way for reducing, for modeling the natural ways that humans used to move their hand. And this first version of the exoskeleton copied somehow this structure. But we understood very quickly that this was not the optimal choice because, as I said, it is too rigid, so it cannot be adapted to the characteristics of different users, for example. So after this first experiment, we quickly went to a more flexible, I would say, solution. It is still composed of rigid links, but it can be adapted to user with different characteristics. So here, just to say, it's a mechanism with 2 degrees of freedom and its kinematics is closed once it is worn. So the mechanism works only when it's worn by the user, and in this way it can be used by hands, let's say, with different characteristics, with different sizes, etc. It is still a rigid exoskeleton, so it has the advantages of rigid exoskeletons that are a precise motion, the possibility to apply forces that have a high magnitude, etc. So going back to the simulation, this is what we did with the models that I have shown before. We tested this structure with hands with different sizes, and we measure, we simulated how different hands with the same exoskeleton behaves. And these curves represent the mechanical transmission properties of the exoskeleton depending on different users. So, of course, the performance of the exoskeleton are different, but, this type of exoskeleton can be anyway applied to, a certain variability of the hands. Okay, some elements about the prototyping phase. The exoskeleton is actuated by linear actuators that are on the back of the hand. They are connected via Bluetooth to a controller that can be implemented on a PC or on an app, even in a cell phone. In the app that controls the exoskeleton, there are several possibilities. You can upload exercises, or another possibility is that you can use the exoskeleton in a recording way. So, for example, the physiotherapist can make an exercise with the user while wearing the exoskeleton. The exoskeleton records the exercise, and then this exercise can be replicated anytime is needed. And what else? I forgot to mention that we inserted also some force sensors under the actuator to measure to estimate the force that the exoskeleton applies to the hand, that can be used for different purposes, for example, for impedance control, or to understand the intention of the user and support it. So a short video about this exoskeleton. So this is the prototype. So here the user and the physiotherapist for visual purposes are the same person. So he was recording with the other hand the exercise, and now he is replicating it. On the left side you see the exercise on the monitor. Okay, this is another feature. You can record the exercise on one of the fingers, and then you can extend it to the whole hand. Of course, it's not one-to-one, but it's this mapping is made through the knowledge about the movement of the hand. Okay. So on the opposite side, there is a soft device. The soft device, as I said, is something that is more adaptable to user hand, and is no more an exoskeleton, it's rather a glove, in this case, in which there are some active parts that are realized, in this case, with tendons. So this is an example of soft exoskeleton for the hand. Here you see it's not the complete hand, it's a modular device in which you can decide how many fingers you can actuate. Here I reported only 2 fingers actuated, but we had the possibility to actuate also the whole hand. We have the structure is soft. It's made of TPU, and it resembles a glove. Basically, the actuators are on the forearm, and the actuation is made by tendons. And what we exploited here is this type of actuation that is called twisted string actuation. This is a type of actuator that is becoming quite common in wearable application because it's very compact. And the idea is to exploit the twisting phenomenon. So if you take, for example, two strings and you twist them while passing from the straight shape to the helix shape, you have a contraction. This contraction can be used as an actuation. So yeah, from the functional point of view, this is a rotation to linear actuator in which you transform the rotation of the twisting of the strings in a contraction. And this is an actuation type that is particularly convenient because it has a very convenient torque to force ratio. Because you can, and in this way you can use very small motors to apply forces that are quite important. So the mathematical model behind this type of actuation is the transformation from a straight tendon to a helix. So if here I reported the equations, but I don't want to spend too much time. It's just a geometrical relationship of the helix, basically. So the relationship between the twist and the contraction. The important thing to note is that it's non-linear. So it's not a standard transmission system. We have to consider that this is not non-linear. And here on the right part of the slide, you can see some simulations in which you see the non-linear behavior. Here you have in the abscissa axis the number of revolution, and on the y-axis the velocities and the displacement. You see that it's non-linear. At a certain point you see also that this curve is flat. This is not, it's just a mathematical trick, let's say. It resembles the fact that at a certain point, okay, this type of actuation has a limited stroke. The limit is when the helix is completely packed. And if you continue twisting the strings after this limit, you get a phenomenon that is called over-twisting. And the transformation here is no more, it's more difficult to be modeled. So we have to work with a limited stroke of the actuator. So, okay, we have to consider if we want, these are a convenient type of actuation, but they have this type of limits. So we decided the actuation, and then we have to actuate the fingers. So we had the model of the hand, we have the model of the actuator. Now to close the loop, we only need to set the path of the tendons, because on the basis of the path of the tendon, knowing the kinematic structure of the hand and the model of the actuation, you can have an idea of how the system will behave. So the final part of this model is basically something that is not difficult to manage, because you only need to know the position of the anchor point in the globe. If you have this information, of course, you starting from the movement of the hand that you want to realize, you can predict the position of the anchor points. On the basis of the position of the anchor point, you can calculate the strength, the stroke of the twisted of the tendon, and then exploiting the nonlinear relationship of the twisted string actuator, you can evaluate the rotation that you need. This flow diagram summarizes the inverse kinematic relationship of the glove. I didn't report the equation. I reported in the paper if you want to check them. So on the basis of exploiting this type of model, we could make some simulation, trying different arrangements of the tendons. So in this way, what we got is we could understand the role, the position of the anchor point of the tendons on the hand, and the actuation that we need. On the basis of the position, we can understand the strength, the stroke that we need. Okay, these are 3 examples of actuations of the fingers. These are some examples for the actuation of the of the wrist. And then, after this first analysis, we could proceed with the design. And, okay, these are some details that we implemented. So all the motors can be mounted on the forearm with a modular structure. So we have a bracelet in which we can connect up to 10 motors, let's say. We can regulate the twisting part of the actuators to get different length. This is the unworn structure of the glove that is designed to be easily wearable, but also in this case adaptable to different hand sizes. And okay, some examples, some experiments. So I'm a bit late. I can skip this because we have already told about them. Okay, this is a user that is also one of the designers of this solution. And he's a user with a limited hand mobility, trying this device for doing some exercises. In this case, he's doing flexion extension exercises of the fingers. So here the adduction. So you see on the right the movement that this user can do without the help of the exoskeleton, and the exercise with the exoskeleton. And also for the thumb. The thumb, I didn't spend so much time, but I think you can understand that the actuation of the thumb is a bit more challenging because of its specific kinematics that is more difficult than the other fingers. Okay, so here some quantitative results. The first two diagrams are a comparison between the movement that you can apply, that the user can have with and without the exoskeleton. So the exoskeleton could help the user to improve the range of motion of his joints. On the upper part, you can see an example in which we could measure the force that the exoskeleton can apply to the hand, to the finger, even in this case with the user with reduced hand capabilities. And the last set of diagrams is about wrist actuation, and this is the performance of the exoskeleton in the record and replicate the movement. So the red curves in the last diagrams are the exercise recorded by the physiotherapist, and the blue curves are the movement that is replicated by the exoskeleton. Okay, this was my last example, just a summary of what I have told this morning. So I started with the need of modeling in this new framework of robotics devices, so in the world of soft robotics. We have seen the challenges, but also the opportunities that this new generation of robots offer to designer and engineers. And I provided a focus on a specific application that is about hand rehabilitation. In this context, I compared soft and rigid devices, and I tried to tell you how we can pass from the modeling and simulation part to the design, and with the final part on the testing. This is not a conclusion, of course, because this is what we are doing now. Now we are extending, we are working on the wrist, we are extending, we have also prototypes for the elbow, and we are in the preliminary phase of the design for the shoulder. So the idea is to actuate with this type of devices all the upper arm to provide a tool for impaired people for gaining, for rehabilitation, but also for gaining some independence. Okay, so this was a summary of what we are doing. This QR code is the link to my Scholar page, in which you can see all the papers that that we wrote about this type of problems. And now I want to thank you very much for the attention again. And this is a picture of the team with the project that are supporting our activities.
Thank you very much, Monica. Very interesting presentation and very focused on the core of the conference, modeling and simulation. Is there any question from the audience? Anyone?
Maybe.
Please.
No need to.
You're loud. Scoccia from the Department of Industrial Engineering and Mathematical Sciences, Marche Polytechnic University in Italy. So I would like to start with an example. Can you help me? Please. I want to lift this object. You go on the other side, or maybe this way, right? So we have to lift it together. No, don't sit on it. We have to lift it together. Okay. So we go down and we lift it, right? And now what do you feel? I'm pushing towards you, right? So you already know, right? Yes. You feel that perhaps I want to take this chair somewhere else. And I can even guide you, yes, left and right, like if we are dancing, right? Yes. Now I'm the leader, right? Yes. But at some point, and you are following, right? Yes. At some point you could do the same.
Yes, I can.
You can pull me, right?
Yes.
It's not planned, she's a good dancer. So this means that we are sharing space. We are sharing the same physical space, we are sharing forces, I'm transferring forces to you. And in a way we are sharing authority. Who is the leader here, right? So and we can do this task, even for example, if we bump on an object, you feel it, right? We are colliding, and we can recover from this together.
So what happens if you decide to go in the same direction?
if we decide to,
yes, I want to go here.
we are like colliding forces, right? So we will also feel that, right? If we don't have a common plan, we will end up pushing each other, right?
Yes.
So, thank you.
Oh.
So this is just an idea of what we are going to see. Imagine that instead of having two humans, we are going to see this with, to do this with a hybrid team, like a human and a robot together. This is the plan for my presentation. I will introduce the topic, specifically this task for an industrial application. And we will see that we can learn this process with the use of imitation learning in a specific use case with battery disassembly. And then I will go a little bit more into the model, the mathematical model, and show you a demo. This is our research group, and some of the topics we work on. The general idea is this teaming between humans and machines. And to see this in the context of history, if we look back at what has happened in the industry, we used to have robots trapped in a cage, like they were like wild animals that were completely separated from humans. Very strong robots, very fast, but not designed for this kind of interaction like the one we have seen. And then at some point, these wild beasts were liberated from the cage, and we started closing the gap between robots and humans, like getting closer to each other with human-robot interaction first, human-robot collaboration, physical human-robot collaboration. That's the first time when humans and machines actually touch with each other. So there is this transfer of forces. But you can see here in this figure, there's this light bulb, right? That means that the human is still in charge there, and the robot is just executing what the human is commanding, right? With this new idea of teaming, like we have shown here, there is a distributed level of autonomy that can shift from humans to machines and vice versa, right? So who is in charge? Sometimes it can be the human, sometimes it can be the robot. So we can have a balanced approach to this paradigm. And to enable this, so you have shared space, shared forces, and shared decisions. So this actually changes the game, because before it used to be enough to have awareness of what is happening right now with sensors, right? But with teaming, you need to predict what is going to happen in the next time window, in the next 10 seconds. What is the intention? Like you said, we were colliding maybe, right? What is your intention? What is my intention? So we need to predict what is next. And for a specific application like battery disassembly, like we are in a time now that where the first wave of electrical vehicles is reaching the end of life. So we will have a lot of battery modules that need to be recycled. And there is a big variety between modules. They are all different. There is no standard. Even the same manufacturer has different modules and different size and shapes. So it's a task that cannot be fully automated. We cannot use just one robot and automate the process. We need a collaboration between the operator, maybe a worker, and the machine. And there is this need of transferring knowledge. So perhaps at the beginning, the human is more aware, is more knowledgeable of how the battery should be taken apart, maybe remove this and this screw, then remove this panel. And then at some point, perhaps the machine would learn that process. So there is this transfer of knowledge between machines and robots. And for this specific work, we have just imagined that the operator and the robot would lift a panel from this battery together. So this is the example that we are going to consider, like we did with the chair here. So this can be done in several ways. The human can be leading, the robot can be leading, or it can be balanced between the two. And there might be some accident maybe while lifting the object. So in this paper I wanted to just show you the classical approach of imitation learning, where you kind of what you do is to try to clone the behavior. Like a kid is learning to do a specific task, so the kid is imitating the parents, for example, right? So you have a set of observation and action, and then you develop a policy by, for example, by coupling these two elements. And then the imitation learning process is based on the fact that you're going to infer between, like interpolating between points that you have learned with a mechanism of rewarding and a way to learn the policy, to optimize and infer this path. So in modern imitation learning, we use deep learning, and we use a multimodal sensing approach, and several probabilistic models are also employed, and then we reach the idea of diffusion-based models. So this new approach of modern imitation learning could be used to progress these stages from human-robot interaction to collaboration, physical human-robot to collaboration and teaming. So the contribution of the work that was submitted to ECMS is summarized here. So we first review the technologies that are enabling imitation learning for human-robot teaming in terms of sensing, actuation, and control. And then we look at the progression from HRI to HRT, and we propose a conceptual pipeline for imitation learning with a specific use case of disassembling a battery module and lifting this panel together. So to enable this concept of human-robot teaming, we believe that we need three essential elements. One is sensors. Sensors not only on the robot anymore, just as we used to have sensors on the robot like encoders, force sensors, but we need sensors also on the human, like wearable sensors, like Monica was presenting today, and sensors in the environment. Since you need to have this very high level of awareness and prediction, you need sensors everywhere. And here we have summarized some of the most relevant sensors that might be used to enable this concept. Our group, for example, is working on the use of neuromorphic or event-based cameras that are privacy preserving. They have very high frame rate, and they can be used to lower the computational complexity of the models that we use. Then we need better actuations. It's not enough to have strong motors like we used to have. So we need, they were very good for high velocity and lifting very heavy objects, but they're not good when you have such a vicinity between humans and machines, where you can have collisions. So you need soft actuators. So in the paper we review the state of the art of this. Of course, in this presentation there is not enough time to go through the details, but the concept is that there is a shift from rigid to soft actuation and hybrid actuation. This again was highlighted in the keynote this morning. From a control point of view, we also need to redesign control algorithms that are more flexible. So we used to have, when we in the literature, when you look at interaction between humans and machines, you normally need to deal with impedance or admittance control. This is the classical way to do it, or hybrid position force control. So this, for example, is hybrid position force control. The idea is that I'm not only controlling the position of the object, but I'm also controlling the force, right? So you need to have two closed loop in the control algorithm. And shared control, that's the direction we are going, which can be enhanced by the use of AI, like imitation learning. So that's why this progression and the idea of using imitation learning. So like overall, we need a better sensor with a multimodal approach, better compliant actuation, so better actuators, soft or hybrid actuators, and more advanced control algorithms to enable this shift to human-robot teaming. So this is the role of imitation learning on each stage. Of course, the more we go towards HRT, the more relevant it becomes. And here is the conceptual pipeline that we have proposed in the paper. So it's divided into several steps. So first we need demonstration from the operator. And especially here we have highlighted two ways of doing this. One is with teleoperation, like the old way of doing it, or with kinesthetics. Kinesthetics means this intuitive way of transferring knowledge by using forces and adopting different kind of sensors, so multimodal approach. And then we need to collect the data with data processing and representation, build our data set, possibly local data set, and apply our model of imitation learning with the selected policy. And then deployment in HRT with real-time adaptation and human feedback. And then we don't believe that this concept should stop there, but it's more like a lifelong learning approach. So while this process of disassembling modules is happening over time, the robot can improve and can learn and refine, update the policy. So it's like a closed loop for learning this kind of disassembly approach. So a little bit of mathematics. We define the battery panel with a certain mass, M, and we define a vector of states where we have the height of this object, this panel, and the velocity, and then we write the equation of motion, like this, like second Newton law. And then we have three dynamic variables. Alpha is the load ratio, so it's like when alpha is between 0 and 1. If it's set to 0.5, it means that we are equally sharing this task, right? It's distributed, half on my side and half on the robot side. Authority is like who is the leader. Lambda, it defines who is the leader. Degree, the robot directs the trajectory. And then the internal forces are defined as the human force or the robot force. And then we are defining different scenarios, a little bit more formalized, by using these parameters of lambda and alpha. So again, alpha is the distribution, lambda is the authority. So when it's 0.5 equally balanced, we are doing co-lifting of the panel. We are co-lifting the panel. If it is the human in charge, we set lambda to 0.25 and alpha to 0.9. So the human is driving the pace and the robot is just supporting the load. The other way around, the robot is leading. And then we also define a special case where there is an anomaly. Maybe the panel is just slept and it's dropping down. So we set the parameters to 0. It's just, these of course are assumptions, hypotheses that we have made. a little bit more mathematics, but again, I invite you to read the paper for a little bit more diving into the equations. But what we do is we define the demonstration collection of the behavior cloning with this equation and the policy execution. And then we try to identify the difference between classical control compared to our approach of imitation learning. Classical control here we mean impedance or admittance control. So these are normally pre-specified by the designer in terms of task height and task timing. The load sharing and authority are also predefined or based on rules. Anomaly response requires explicit rules. New panels variance requires re-engineering the control approach. Operator variability is not modeled. Imitation learning makes these things much more flexible. It can be learned, it can be adapted, and it can be also adapted to different operators. So now I would like to show you a demo of this. So it's implemented in HTML. So we have a very simple demo where we consider only 2D. So it means that this chair is only moving on one axis, right? Just as a starting point. So what you do here, you have this slider that you can use to demonstrate what you want to do. So basically on the right side you have all the matrix. The green line is the robot force and the red line is the human force. And what I will do is I will demonstrate with this slider. I will lift the panel as much as I want and lower it again. And then I can train the policy pi. So you can see it's quite fast because the example here is a simplification of the model. And then you can run the policy. So now we are in a co-lifting scenario. So you can see that the red and the green force are almost balanced. If the robot is leading, the robot force will be bigger. So the green arrow is as a module that is bigger than the red one. And if I do human-led, is the opposite. Or partially, it depends a lot on how good we have done this training. And anomaly is the last case where we test a possible accident, for example. So you see that the bar drops down to the floor. Okay, let's go back to the slides. I think in the interest of time, I'll just jump to the future directions. So like from what we have seen so far, the multimodal learning, especially from the reviewing of other works, is a promising approach. And simulation and digital twins can improve this concept. Of course, the demo that I've shown you is a very simple, basic demo where you use only 2Ds and everything is ideal. But there are simulators that are more physics-based, like for example the one from NVIDIA, Pi Bullet, where you can test the real physics and so on. Hybrid approaches could combine imitation learning with reinforcement learning or model predictive control. So what is the take-home message is that basically in this work we have used imitation learning as a way to progress from human-robot interaction, collaboration to human-robot teaming in a way that we can more flexibly model forces and share autonomy between humans and machines. So I would like to leave the stage for your questions. Thanks. Please.
I have only easy question.
Easy.
The alpha and the lambda, you know, alpha for the load balancing and lambda for the authority. Yeah, it's right now it's mean only for the one human and one robot. But I think it's directly transferable for the many human and many robots.
If you have a multi-team,
you come
multi-agent team.
You come with this idea, you know, that you can use multiple robots, you know, load balance between multiple robots, or the authorization, authority between, you know, two humans or something like that.
Yeah, I think this is interesting, and there you can probably reuse some of the research that was done with robot swarms, for example, right?
Exactly.
So, for example, this chair could be lifted by multiple robots, right?
Or big robots.
Or maybe even like different morphologies of robots, maybe drones, flying drones, if you want, right? So you will have multiple contacts. You will have to decide also the formation and decide who is in charge, or if it is fully distributed. So, for example, if you have 3 agents, then alpha will be like 1/3, right?
Yeah.
For example, right?
Yeah.
If you have a leader of that formation, you can have alpha for that specific agent a bit higher, right?
Yeah.
So I think that, yes, there is a lot we can generalize. This is just a very basic idea.
But I think it's, you know, expands to the multiple.
It can be scaled.
It can be scaled. Thanks.
Thanks. Please.
I've seen some papers from some researchers in the University of Verona about trustworthy reinforcement learning for multi-agent systems. So, can that be applied to this?
We can have a look. Yeah, I think that sounds like, for example, trustworthy approach. Here, this is not trustworthy. We could include that aspect as well.
Yeah, that could be maybe in when you talk about learning policies and dissemination. So maybe including like imperfection in the perception phase.
Yeah.
And also it could be for deformable objects manipulation. That could also be an application.
Yeah, for example, now the panel is completely rigid. Yeah, we can add that part as well. And of course, the model will be more complex.
Yeah.
The force will be distributed in different ways. But yeah, these are aspects we can consider. Martin?
The parts of electric vehicle batteries are usually quite heavy. What do you say is like the beneficial coal carrying instead of like teleoperation in this circuit?
You are from this field, you are working on this project, so you have a better overview. I think that, of course, this is just one of the many subtasks that you can have in the disassembly operation, and there might be tasks or subtasks in the process where you might need it, where if it is too heavy, I would say you completely delegate to the machines, right? And like, for example, this could be like one or a few times you do it together, right? Once the robot has landed, maybe another robot will replace the human, right? So you have 2 agents, but there are 2 machines.
So So basically the alpha and the lambda can dynamically changing during the
could be adapted during the process, and that's lifelong learning, right? Okay.
Okay, so thank you again for your presentation, and I think we can consider the session closed.
Of ECMS 2026. It's been a really interesting journey, and it's been interesting to meet all of you and to exchange our ideas. And it's time to summarize what we have done today, these days. So I had the pleasure to share with you some numbers, and then we will have the announcement for next year, ECMS 2027. So we are really looking forward to what's next for ECMS, and to meet again somewhere nice that will be announced shortly. And at last we will have some award ceremony. So we will have Best Paper Award and Best Student Paper and Best Photo Award. So you will have to wait until the end of this year ECMS. We were really satisfied with the number of papers that were submitted, and these are the accepted papers. 104 accepted papers with 281 unique authors and 343 author appearances. So some authors, of course, have several, more than one paper, with an average of 3.3 authors per paper. Very wide spectrum of research from covered by the different sessions, so covering modeling and simulation as a core part of ECMS, artificial intelligence kind of gluing almost all the sessions, robotics with an exceptionally high number of papers this year. This is the second year that we have the robotic session in ECMS, so we are quite satisfied with this growth. And then digital twins, supply chains, and data intensive systems.
Filippo, and I think we have to thank you again, because I think we had a very good conference in a very nice place. And I'm so happy that I can announce that the next conference will be again in Budapest, if I remember, in the fourth time. And I'm also happy that Budapest also took part in the very first times, or the very first era of the ECMS conferences. So after 10 years, the ECMS going back to Hungary. So let's see the exact venue. I think I don't need to say too much about the city. Budapest is the capital city of Budapest. It's the capital city of Hungary, sorry. And the exact venue and the host university, Budapest University of Technology and Economics, the biggest and one of the most prestigious technical university in Hungary. And inside the university, the host department will be the Department of Machine and Product Design, in the Faculty of Mechanical Engineering. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Peter Zvilcik. I will be the chair of the next year's ECMS conference, and I would like to introduce my colleague, Kornél Tamás, who will be the co-chair of the upcoming conference. I just collected some information about the venue and the host. As I mentioned to you, the BME is one of the oldest and most prestigious technical university in Hungary. Sometimes they call that this is the first technical university all over the world. And our department, the Department of Machine and Product Design, also a very, very old department. And this was the department who started the education of the new wave design engineers, mechanical design engineers in Hungary.
I'd like to continue with the awarding ceremony, and we would like to start with the special student session. And my colleague Saleh will take care of this.
So, hi everyone. So we will start the awards for the student paper competition. So that's based on the paper, which counted for 60% of the evaluation, and 40% was counted for the presentation. And the entire award was based on the methodology, excellence, and the impact of the paper, in addition to the presentation. So we are going to have we had 5 nominations, and we start with the last papers which got nominated, and then third, second, and the first one. And it should be noted that the Best Student Paper Award will receive a diploma, and in addition, the student will receive the free admission to the next ECMS in Budapest.
One of the next.
One of the next.
It could be.
It could be, yeah. Thank you very much, Martina. So we start, and I would like to thank Saleh for taking care of all the assessment and all the work. So Saleh, please.
Yeah, so we'll start with the nominated. As I said, it's 5. We were like 2 are nominated and 3 they joined the award. Let's start with the nominated. Let's start with the first one. It's Amir Zara. Amir has authored with, I think it's difficult for me to say all the names, so if you but the paper is modeling human satisfaction in AMR assisted order picking and exploratory study of motivation by floated rate cost. Yeah. And the second nominated. Yeah. The second nominated, which has I think Italian name, Gintatas Sidis.
From KTU, is he here? Gintautas.
That would be a clue. So
You should
any
other
maybe
author
a
on
student
the
will come.
No. For the paper PPLG to ACD, alignment, synchronization, and quality analysis.
Let's see that.
I think you can do some Photoshop with this one. Yeah, 100%.
I will start with the third one. Actually, these 3 papers they were very close. In very little percentage, as I said, it's plus 60% from the reviewer scores and 40 for the presentation, and all of them they did all the same. I will start with the third nominated, who is Martin Octer.
Can you read the titles?
Yeah, the title of the paper is AROS-based framework for low-cost real-time haptic feedback in human robot teaming.
We will also project it, so it's easier.
The second for his paper, Automated Transformation of ML version 2 conceptual model into system simulation structure for maritime core simulation. Best student best paper award is
a little bit of suspense.
It's going to award is difficult with the names. I'm sorry, but I try to say Julia Feda. And Daniel Silva for the paper titled Analyzing Operational and Maintenance Strategies for Electrolysis-Based Hydrogen Production for Industrial Decarbonizations.
Congratulations.
The final part, and then you are free to go for lunch and run to the airport.
No. The last
Just a second. Yeah, okay. So, again, for the Best Paper Award, as was mentioned by Ali earlier, I'm here, yeah. So, I will just explain a little bit the procedure. So, we started from the actual old papers that were accepted. One comment that I was also shared from Ali and Fabio. Every paper was reviewed by at least 3 reviewers independently, so 3 reviews per paper. And we selected actually the 5 top scored papers from 0 to 10. Okay, so we had basically the top 5 papers going from 9.3 to 9.9. Okay? From these papers, actually, we then decided to create a committee. The committee was composed by myself, Dmitry Ivanov, Professor Armand Akele, I think he's still here. Thank you. And someone else who is Dina from Lithuania. She left this morning. Fader Machot from NMBU, he also left, but they helped in the procedure. Sarah is here, I think. Thank you, Sarah, also for your help. And I probably am forgetting someone, but we were 7 people, okay? And we were in the presentations, and we evaluated every paper based on different criteria, and so on. 60% of the evaluation was made based on the reviews scores, and 40% was made by the part related to the actual presentation and quality of the presentation and methodology and so on and so forth. Okay? So among these papers, we actually noticed that one of the papers was of Filippo. So we said, okay, we will discard him. However, we still went in his presentation and we evaluated and so on. And at the end, to avoid conflict, still we said, okay, he will not win it, for sure. But we still wanted to give him a certificate of appreciation, so it will also give that. So let's start now with the papers. I think I have them in different order, but yeah. So we have 2 Best Paper Award nominations, which basically are 4th and 5th in the order. And the first Best Award nomination is for Levante Velasco and their work on difficulties and possible solutions in head checking crack detection. If I saw him yesterday with this muscle, I will. Sorry. Then the second Best Award, Paper Award nomination, so 4th or 5th, they are not in order, we don't know, is actually Filippo, you know the guy? No, I don't want this, but yeah, we have to. Also, his co-author, yeah. we had this sign, so no worries. Okay, so now second runner-up, which means third in the third classifier. And the third classifier is, I hope you are here. Okay, I think so. Francisca Maika is here. Solution. Thank you very much. That was Congrats. It's yours. Thank you. First runner-up. Again, I hope it doesn't have its muscles. Otherwise, you'll be afraid again. So basically, we have Ferenc Arancazo. You are still big, So I know that someone was betting about the winner, so I think I won because I knew. Okay, so and the winner is, and before saying the name, I have to say again that the winner has the possibility to get a free registration for one of the future ECMS.
Right.
Please contact Martina in that case if you are going to be. I'm sorry, I think that the winner is not here.
But maybe someone from the university.
I hope someone will be here, and the winner is Hadis Mohammadi Kamiz. Someone from our university? Okay,
Come on.
Okay, good. Come on.
Well, yes, that's okay.
So not really the same department, but I think.
Yeah,
but that's better.
It will cost us cheaper to send it by post.
That's just perfect. You're here, you take it for them. It's just fine. Don't worry.
As you can see, but this is not the winner.
There was a naked guy in the winner, yeah?
We had to filter some photos. So the winner is, actually we selected two photos. This one, and you can guess it. And the second one, I don't know why that one is flickering. So the winner of the contest is Iri Konensi. Thank you for everything.
Thank you for everything.
Award of recognition. This award of recognition is proudly presented in sincere appreciation of your exceptional leadership, unwavering commitment, and outstanding dedication in serving as General Chair of the 40th ECMS International Conference of Modeling and Simulation. Through your vision, tireless efforts, and steadfast commitment to excellence, you played a pivotal role in the planning, coordination, and successful delivery of the conference. Your professionalism, guidance, and countless contributions were instrumental in creating high-quality scientific events that brought together researchers and professionals from around the world. The ECMS community extends its deepest gratitude and appreciation for your remarkable service and lasting contribution to the continued success and growth of ECMS. So the first award goes to Filippo Sanfilippo. Award of recognition goes to the second General Chair, Florence Demorsky.
Fires around? Yeah, smaller ones.
Like the other side of the island, other islands, etc. Excuse me, do you want a photo of yourself in the bonfire?
Yeah. It's a good start for ECMS 26. Together! Ready? Yeah. YMCA. YMCA. Even Trump can dance this, so. Almost.
Känner solen värmer mig som jag har längtat efter dig. För det kom till tid klangen din väntar. Klangen din där för er. För det var du som var det finaste jag har. Och kör du till hamnen är du det finaste jag har. Across the skies, close enough to touch, be careful if you try. Oh, she looks as warm as gold. The moon's a harsh mistress.
Through the noise of doubt and distance, through the fear of what may be, we found trust in every motion, in shared autonomy. Not replacement, not surrender, but a fusion of design. Intelligence extended, your decision joined with mine. In the space where futures start. Oh, not rivals, partners, code and courage, mind and Human hearts and circuits dreaming.